0.1% per training session to black belt. That's nuts. For argument's sake, guys, let's say 10 years is the average journey to black belt. For most of you guys and girls, your average time to black belt from when you first came in here as a white belt to a black belt, let's just say for argument's sake, a nice even number is 10 years. I recommend people try to train 8 times in a month, which is actually less than twice a week. But ultimately, guys, you think 50 weeks in a year, you're sick a couple of weeks, 2 training sessions a week equals 100 training sessions a year. So 10 years to black belt and 100 training sessions a year, okay? Pretty simple, 1,000 training sessions to black belt. That to me is not very much. If you break that up in a percentage, look at it like a fraction, 0.1% per training session to black belt. That's nuts. Some of you probably grew up like me where we didn't get to download things at like 10 megaseconds, and it was like if you got your 56 kilobytes a second, you were like, oh, pumping. So you would see a movie or something you were downloading go up by 0.1% and you're like, yes! And then it would be 1.2%, 1.3%, right? Nowadays it's like zip, it's done. But in jiu-jitsu, you're going up by 0.1% per training session. If you're on track to get your black belt in 10 years, training twice a week at a reputable academy, so 0.1%. Every time in here, 0.1%, you'll never get that 0.1% back. So be very deliberate. You only have 1,000 training sessions to become a black belt. There's a lot of jiu-jitsu to fit in there. So every time you step on the mat, you better know how you got 0.1% better. Now, it might be quantitative. You might go like, I got better at my leg lasso catapult sweep today. Or that might not be the case, but you go, I got better at my resilience today, or my pressure today, or my transitions today, or my spider guard today, or my submission defense today. Okay? Sometimes you're not gonna have a good day though, and you are stuck in his guard, you are stuck in their submissions, and you learn a weakness of yourself, right? So you can learn a weakness of yourself too. That's a strength, because now you might not have gained 0.1% today, but now you know your weakness, you can plug that gap and then overcompensate, and now you might get 0.2% tomorrow's training session. So just remember that, guys, if you're journeying to black belt from white belt, 0.1% per training session, that's nuts. You come here for just over a month, 10 sessions, that's a whole 1% to a black belt. So then if we divide the belts up, I mean, this is generalizing, but if we say 2 years to blue belt, another, say 2.5 years to purple belt, another 2.5 years to brown belt, another 1.5 years, 2 years to black belt. So even if we said 2 years, like 2 to blue, 2 to purple, 2 to brown, 2 to black, that would be 8 years. Right? So if we put a couple of extra time periods in there, you think you only need to get basically 20% per belt, almost 25% per belt. So you don't need to do that many training sessions to get graded up. So every belt you're making, say if you get a belt every 2 years, which is quite reasonable, you know, give or take. So you think every 2 years you might get a belt in jiu-jitsu, that's only 200 training sessions. So per belt, it's 0.5% of your next belt every training session. So every week is 1% to your next belt. So you can start to see however much you want to like chunk it down, you are making progress every day. So be deliberate. Today we worked from the turtle position, you know, defending from the turtle, making sure people couldn't take our back, submit us, okay? And so you would have got better at your turtle control, your back takes. You would have also got better at your reversals and your defense. So hopefully you guys can drive home or walk home today knowing that you got your 0.1% towards black belt and it was a turtle day. But every day is a day, and you don't need to rely on me as your coach. You can set your own. So Hunter over there might go, I want to do pressure passes. That's going to be my 0.1% today. You know, Dave might say spider guard. I don't want anyone to pass my spider guard today. So spider guard retention might be as 0.1%. But guys, if we've only got 1,000 training sessions for black belt, you have to be very deliberate. You cannot afford to come in here and say, yeah, I'll just roll. I'll try to beat them. They'll try to beat me. That's not okay. You are not going to be anywhere near black belt by that time, or if you are, you will be a fraction of the black belt that you could have been. And we all owe it to ourselves to become the absolute best black belts that we can become. You don't owe that to me, but you owe that to your families who are letting you come here. You know what I mean? You owe that to yourself because you know how great you could be. So just become it. You're in an environment where nothing will hold you back. You've got a million training partners here. You have access to me 24/7. So make sure you become the best grapplers you can become, and that will be 0.1% of the time. Okay, thank you guys so much for coming out here. I hope you had an amazing session, and let's keep working towards that 0.1% tomorrow. Okay, 1, 2, 3.